Guys.
Well, I don't guess it's too bad. Jennings has been jumping on my head for the past few minutes.
Oh. I think you've been playing with him just as much.
Well, he started jumping on me, so I put him in baby jail.
And then he went nuts.
He didn't like that.
Hey, let me go turn this down.
So, how is everyone? Rehab Life, Phyllis, Josie, Big Dave, how are y'all?
What?
Waiting.
I know, I'm sorry. Kids are crazy. We've been watching a movie, so typically, we actually work like slaves until we get to the to live.
We actually got some rain this afternoon.
So when we get rain in the summer and springtime, it allows us to feel like we can take a break. We can take a break.
Well, from outside stuff anyway.
Hey,
inside
are
stuff
we live, y'all? I think there's a freeze on the computer here, so it might be too much on our internet. Can you hear us, guys?
Do I need to?
Let's see.
Or are we hooked up to on the TV?
I think we are on the TV too. So let's see if it comes up. Are y'all? All right? Can y'all see us? Can you hear us?
We're seeing some comments come through, but
we don't know if y'all are seeing us right now.
live stream is freezing up tonight for Rehab Live. Can't hear it. So some people it's messing up with, some people it's not.
Okay, so let's see if it will clear up.
Froze up for a minute. Some more people starting to jump on.
Okay, good. It froze up on our end. It might be our weather. It really could be. So
maybe.
But we're enjoying the rain. We needed the rain terribly. All the gardens really did. Our pumpkins are growing, so we are rocking those.
Yep.
I think the kids
we actually have some watermelon too that really shot up over the past few days. So I'm hoping that we will be able to get some watermelon because we have attempted to grow it in the past.
We've grown it. Remember last year we grew it and then the cows ate it. Remember, it grew into the field right there.
I don't remember. We have in the past before tried to grow it, but it didn't ever seem like location was. It's one of the things we were talking about, Danny and Wanda. He was really talking about how location is key to things that you plant. We have definitely seen that here for us as well, and I don't know that location has ever been totally great. But we actually have watermelon out there, like
pretty watermelon too.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So that's what I think we learned a little bit more when we went to Deep South was where we wanted an orchard and kind of everything together. Danny and them had it kind of spread out all over the farm.
Yeah, so he was talking about how there's they have 7 different types of soil just on their acres. And speaking of them, there they are.
How are y'all?
So yes, that really does play.
We need to really move our grapes. That muscadine vine. It grows. And see, that's what's so crazy. We have our orchard will put off like things like the grapevine looks wonderful, but it never puts off fruit. Our blueberries do phenomenal in different locations. Our plum does different. Does great in different locations.
I think it's just going to be a combination of planting and seeing how they do, and also getting soil samples and taking them to see what type of soil we have in where the fruit trees are and where the different gardens are. And I think that will really help us. So speaking of, Miss Vera asked about the mulberry rooting. So I believe I got 5 cuttings from you, and I do have one that looks really absolutely beautiful. One has little. What are the little bud? They have little buds that look. It's where the tiny little leaves are wrapped up super tight, and they're still green, but they have not opened up yet. So I don't give them a full thumbs up until they actually show real signs of growth.
But that cutting is doing well.
But the one cutting, yes, is doing amazing.
And what's so cool is this year we're really seeing the elderberries really do well on the homestead too. So for us, we've always foraged for elderberry, and we've had some grow here, but never really put off the fruit. So this year we're really seeing those gorgeous bulbs, those gorgeous flowering containers, those beautiful white blooms showing that they're going to put off.
So I will actually be able to get this September my first elderberry harvest from our property.
From our plants. We pulled a few off our property through the woods.
Well, yeah, I
from
mean,
tree
like,
plants
that's what
here.
I mean. Like, around
mean,
the
like,
house,
you mean
not
like-
in the woods. Because when you were talking about going out and having to, like, climb on the ranger to reach them in the middle of the woods, and you're
It was
scared that a
crazy.
snake is going to bite your leg off. I mean, we'll actually be able to harvest, like, from the ones we've gotten from the woods and brought to the house, is
Yeah.
what I mean.
So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
So the only thing is, though, we tried to do a cutting on the plum. It didn't work as well.
No.
So we got to still work on that.
I actually tried an air layering method, and it was it just did not work for me. It was my first time ever.
But now we bought this little coupling. That's like a little air layering coupling. So we're going to try it too and see if it works.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait to fall though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really need to look into when the best time to take cuttings from, because it seems to me as if, like, they're actively growing, that would be the best time, because it seems like they would put off roots better, to where if they're fisting to go into fall, that they would be dormant and wouldn't actually establish those roots because they're not actively growing. I mean, that's just my thoughts, but I mean, that's the way I know it is with the elderberry. You want to get cuttings and stuff in like February and March, and then let them, do their root thing. So as far as air layering, though, I don't know if time, I would think that it would matter, but I'm not an expert, so I'll have to look into that.
So as we talk about everything in the world, right now our gardens are doing phenomenal. They're doing really good.
Peas and beans.
Peas and beans. That's our cucumbers and squash this year. Well, cucumbers are doing okay. The squash and zucchini just saying. But to be honest with you, it's really enough for us because we don't really.
It's enough to eat it when we want to eat it, but as far as to put a lot up, I've only put a quart and a pint of extra squash up, and I guess we say for most people that's all they really want, but we were trying to grow, or we always try to grow everything in bulk, because what we want to do is put all the extras up. And thanks to Miss Wanda, canning is now our friend, and we use all that extra to put up for winter and stuff. Even when we were using the freezers, we would still pull it out and eat it. But I said all that to say, last year our squash and zucchini, we were drowning in it. I could not give it away. The year before that was not a good year. I mean, again, it gave us enough to eat off of, kind of like this year, but not just a total in abundance. And then the year before that we were drowning in it again. Yep. It's like been up and down with the squash and zucchini. It's like we'll have really good year, and then the next year is not that great. Then we'll have a really good year, and then the next year is not that great. And this year we're landing on that.
Hey, Logan.
It's not that great year. So.
Yeah, no. But what is kind of cool is that we're going to open up another part of our garden. We have not done it, but we're going to grow some more peas. I think a different kind, like a different top pick. I know I'm like her. But to be honest with you, we've probably got, 50 or 60 cans done over there of canning.
Well,
plus we put up gardens.
Just Monday, I canned 17 quarts of peas and beans.
And see, our peas and beans are going crazy. So we've harvested
and that
over
was
40
just
gallons.
Our second picking.
Yeah, so we still have 2 or 3 more pickings on the peas and beans. So that we're really excited about that. They've done really good, but they always do good here. Our peas and beans always do really well here.
Yeah. And Miss Wanda said she put up some peachy stuff today. Actually, right before I got on, I sat down and scrolled on Instagram for just a minute. I try to go through and check my messages and all of that stuff. And actually, your picture was one of the first ones that pulled up, and I saw it looked like peach jelly, and then peaches, regular peaches. They were beautiful. I do envy that a little bit. We don't have peach. We have peach trees planted, but they don't do well.
So here's kind of for an idea though. When we were talking about what we grow here, we have found, even though we try to grow corn every year, we try to do well on corn, it just struggles. So not that we don't try something new every year. We try planting at different places. Again, us trying to be as organic as possible. We don't really put any chemical with it other than natural blood meal and things like that. But when we can't find that, we we sub it out. So we've got a guy who we're going to go pick about 1,000 ears, literally Friday and Saturday. Can you believe that? 1,000 ears. So we're going to try to do that this weekend and then put those up as well. So what we can't grow, we try to barter around. Actually, I help him with his bees.
Be sick of canning corn.
So when I get the end of it, so because I help him with bees, or he jumps ideas off me on some of that stuff, we can get some corn. And I threaten to pay him.
Quarter it and saute it in butter. That's one of my favorite ways too. Yeah. But I honestly like squash better than zucchini because it has just a little bit of sweetness to it. So I do mine together, but I really do probably prefer the squash more.
Hey, what was cool today too, Misty, for the first time we've ever done, we've grown garlic and onion before, but today we grew we grew our garlic this year, and we harvested it, we dried it in the dehydrator, and actually made true garlic powder.
Yep, I ground it up. Grab the jar real quick. It's just right there.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, we pulled up some of our garlic, stuck it in the dehydrator. It took days, but that was kind of my fault because I actually cut them just in half. Yay! I actually just cut them in half, so it took a really long time for them to dry out. So my suggestions would be is to put a piece of wax paper down, and it's strong. It's very strong. And cut it up in smaller pieces and stick it in the dehydrator. And then I got it out and put it in what are those things called? Oh, we had a sweet viewer that sent us an extra one because you fussed at me about using it for eggshells. I don't remember what
grinder. Just a grinder.
Is that what it's called? It's like a coffee. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. So I stuck it in there for just a few seconds, and so now we have our own garlic powder. And this would not probably last us maybe a week here. So we have a lot.
But see, here's what's cool. This was off of what, 2 bulbs? 2 elephant garlic bulbs. Look at that.
But I use it in everything. And that's just one of the jars. Like I have jars of basil, jars of oregano, jars of thyme, which I got off of one plant because then I killed it. I do not do good with thyme. Basil, oregano, what else is in there? Peppers.
Yeah, our peppers. We've got tons of peppers too.
I'm just totally losing it. I have a whole
cilantro, parsley, basil, chives, peppers, of course, garlic, onions.
There's several other things in there too. Dill. I have
dill.
My dill totally flopped this year. Yes, it does. That's what I used on this, and it is. I can be a little bit more sparing with it because it is so strong. But I will say this, I use it in everything. So we made a homemade pizza tonight, and I used garlic and onion like crazy. Basil, we use our own basil. So I make my own pizza sauce, my own spaghetti sauce. I use garlic and onion when I'm salt and peppering chicken in the oven. I mean, I use it in
so much.
Oh my goodness, like probably 85% a week. I use.
So I just thought that was cool.
It's very cool.
We've had garlic and onion before, but to actually process it as a powder, like you truly buy, I thought that was really neat. So
the dehydrator has been a big thing here for us.
Yeah, it's been huge.
It has been. And learning how to can has been a big thing here too. I have really worked my rosemary is another one. Sage. See, look at you. Yes, I have all of that in the cabinet. The kids, when they hold the baby, they want to feed her. I don't know if they like to feed her for fun or.
I think it's more of a fun. So.
She's crying.
She'll be okay.
No, when I say.
I think she's okay.
Can you have her then? Since she's okay.
You can go hold her. Give her a toy. Just let her hold the toy.
All right, so.
Sit down there and hold the toy.
Now, we did not, this year purposely, we did not open up our whole garden. And that's a good thing because we spent 4 hours Friday morning picking butter beans. So we have to pick another harvest too. So What we're going to try to do with the rest of the garden this year, though, is we're going to cover this part back up, and then we'll go ahead and open the other side up. And that's where we'll plant the peas and the rest of the fall gardens, like the turnips and mustards and all that. Kind of weird this year, we were not able to get slips for our sweet potatoes, which we grow some here and there on our potatoes anyway. So this year we've got a lot more outside that we're trying to grow.
Actually, I meant to tell you yesterday when I come in, the ones that you put in the jar several days ago already have roots.
Good, very good.
So that's a good sign. That's a good thing.
So we need to get those in the ground. They should already probably been in the ground, but we just didn't have time. We were waiting on slips, and that was our dumb fault for saying, "Hey, we can get slips at the store or at the co-op." That didn't work like that. So it's hard to get around here.
Yeah, but even if we grow multiple sweet potatoes from those and then keep all of those and grow from those, it's kind of like when you plant one seed that gives you many more seeds. So that's kind of what we're hoping for this year is.
Guys, y'all better be saving seed. I know I'm real close to a co-op here in town, and it's hard for them to get seed. They ran out of sweet corn early this year.
Hey, that's a good idea.
They're out of a lot of fall peas this year. They're not getting a lot of the things like cereal rye that we're going to do some soil to make a better quality soil. They're going to struggle getting it even for deer season. And of course, they didn't get slips this year. So be saving your seed and be saving your tubers and all those kind of things because I think we're going to need it more and more as time permits. So
dehydrate your tomato peels and grind them up to use in sauce. That's a great idea. That's something I have not done.
That's pretty cool. I haven't heard of that either. There's so many innovative ways to preserve food. I think the more that we teach ourselves and learn some of the older ways of anything that we do, I think can help. I think of the smokehouse with the bacon. For so long, you just process your bacon, and even when we killed our first few pigs, we just let the slaughterhouse do the bacon. And after we ate it, we were like, it's okay, but it's not the best. But now that we're able to learn it ourselves, it just gives a whole different element to it. So I think that's the same thing with like garlic. Like this garlic is so strong and smells so good compared to like just McCormick garlic.
Yeah, it is very strong. I'm curious to see if I'm going to have to use the same amount or less.
Yeah, you're not going to use more.
Probably not more because even like when I was grinding it up, I was across, like even walking across the room, I could still smell it. Maybe it got all over me. I don't know. It was it fumigated the room everywhere.
Getting started on homesteading. Are y'all coming to the Heartland Homesteaders Picnic? I would love to, but with our milk cows, it is very hard to get away. We're those weird people that don't leave farms too much either. So we really don't. We're homebodies, I'd say. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Well, at this point in time, I feel like if we left to do something during the summer, with everything that we have going on, there would be no way for us to catch up. Mm-hmm. Because I'll tell y'all this, and I don't want to say this to sound like a whiny. It's just I'm being realistic. I'm just telling y'all kind of how things roll out around here. So yesterday, what time did I get my shower yesterday?
4
o'clock.
PM.
PM, not AM. So it was just a long day, a lot going on.
Bryce.
And I honestly feel like if we left and like stayed away more than a day, we would never be able to catch up. I just don't think we could.
And so we are trying to take, I wouldn't say we don't take a break, but on Sundays we have tried to do better on the Sabbath. But even to that point, we still do our minimal chores and things like that. But when it comes to this season, that's why we try to do off-season things, because between our animals and between the babies from the farm and then, of course, the gardens, there's just no time on that. It's amazing. But, when I think back to my grandparents and things like that and great-grandparents. I remember my grandmother never stopping. I mean, just never stopping. And I think that we've had convenience for so long in our world that when we do it, we feel like we're overdoing it. And really, we're just doing just what they probably did, and understand that if we can do those things and keep those things up, it helps us teach our children the value of work ethic. So I think it's good. We like staying busy. We are overachievers. I would say that. Would you say that? We're workaholics.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, I completely overloaded myself. Though I was by the end of the days, I was totally
Look,
miserable.
this morning, for instance, last night we try to watch a movie with our kids at night. So last night we watched a movie, and we have VidAngel programs, so we can watch a lot of other movies. So we stayed up to like midnight, and also we went to get in bed.
This
and
time
then
of year is hard for everybody.
Livy got up and stayed up till like 12:45. So we were up till almost 1 last night with the baby, and then I overslept. I slept till like 4:50 this morning, like right at 5. Misty didn't kick me on my alarm, so I was running to go get milk and done.
Actually, his alarm that went off like 2,000 times
I didn't even hear it.
woke up Livy. So I brought her in here in the living room and left him in there and stayed in here with her. And I laid down beside her on the couch because she has this little jumper saucer that she gets in, and she loves to watch like Dora, Blue's Clues. It's like
It's
a
like
old, it's like a
old school.
10-year-old DVD that we had, and she loves it. So I put her in her little jumper saucer, and I just laid down beside her on the couch, and we watched TV. And then Colby wakes up, and he was like,
I'm in a panic running.
well, I think it was more like 5:20 when you got up.
I don't know what time it was. It was later than typical. And what's so funny is,
Or maybe that's when you come back in for milking. I can't remember.
and so
I was so tired.
we're not trying to blow one of our videos coming up, but we had to rid ourselves of some part of our farm today. So we were in a tizzy to get done with the normal morning chores to tackle another chore that will be coming up in the video. So it's just been one of those days already. So it was kind of good. I was like, when it started raining this afternoon, knowing I had so much to do, I was thinking, man, it didn't need to rain, but then I'm like, I'm so glad it rained. So that way
well, our grounds really needed it too.
They did.
It had been very dry here. So
hey, Sam.
Well, our grounds really needed it. But it's good to be busy, because you know what busyness means. That means there's productivity and goals being met. And I mean, it is a good thing. If we did not have anything to do, if we did not have a garden to go out and pick, if we wouldn't be able to can, we wouldn't be able to put our food up. So with the busyness comes great things. But sometimes at the end of the day, you're pooped. And I would definitely say Monday and Tuesday, I was definitely pooped.
So thinking about all the stuff we talked about just then, now what are you doing are you saving seed? Are you to a point where you're trying to do all you can? Are you trying to grow more this year? So for us this year, we try to grow more. And don't get me wrong, our corn bombed this year, but our soybeans did phenomenal this year. We had a good harvest of them, even with the deer and sheep getting into them. But we still had a great harvest. So we have really tried to up our game.
If they wouldn't have, I think
because
they ate
of the
like
crazy
half.
world.
I think they ate like half of the soybeans.
They probably did.
We
had a good
put
harvest
up
still,
several
though.
gallons, but if they would not have eaten those, we would have done really well. I think that mosquito was just biting me.
Yeah, our corn we struggle with corn. Actually, we're fixing to plant some field corn too, just to get it for the animals, just to make some true feed for them. So we tried that, and it worked. But again, we feel guilty when we feed our ground with fake fertilizer. So when we don't do that, it's just hard to grow. And then when we do it with organic fertilization, it costs an arm and a leg for corn. So
yeah. But
we have some saying they are saving seed. You better, because I'm telling you, I think we're going to get to a point where if we're not saving seed, we may not be growing our gardens like we're wanting to. The friend that was in the co-op I was telling you about, he said there's some manipulation in the seed market too. It's even hard to get good seed anymore. He said sometimes you're ordering seed, you feel like it's probably from 2 or 3 years ago. And so that's why a lot of times it won't grow as good as it should. So I do agree with you, Miss Kathy. You're starting to see. I'm one of those people that believes we're in a solar minimum. I'm not sure if we're in a grand solar minimum yet, but I do believe the way things grow, sometimes you may not get the harvest this year that you needed, so you better have some from last year. Like our okra, prime example. We still have okra that's from what, a year or two ago, 2 years ago.
Put it up in the freezer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our okra's not done well this year. And that's something that grows well every year almost for us. So, but we're okay because we have tons of okra from last year and the year before still put up. So.
I forgot to tell you, today I put up almost a gallon
But it took
that
a
I had
lot.
cut up.
The year before we smoked it with some okra. I mean, we still have like 10 bags upstairs.
I know. But yeah, well, that was a lot. But all the okra that we're getting now was from the seeds that I saved last year.
True.
So
And our pumpkins are pretty much from our saves from last
yeah,
year.
well, not all of them, but it's a lot of, like you said.
We're really trying this year we've really tried for the last few years to really grow. We'll buy supplemental seeds just in case we did bomb it.
Mhm.
But to be honest with you, we've done really well with our seeds. Our seed
Yeah, I
saving.
think the only thing that we really have really, I feel like I really don't know, and maybe I'm doing it wrong. Last year when I harvested zucchini and squash, I would
I
keep
think
the
that's good, Miss Sue.
seeds out of the ones that were the biggest, but they never grew. I'm thinking maybe I need to let them rot on the vine before I get the seed.
I don't know if it rot would be the good word. Drown.
Well, they're gonna rot
die
before they
on
dry.
vine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Die, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Start dying. So, that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do with those. Squash and zucchini, if any of you guys know, every time that we've saved seeds from our own squash and zucchini, they've never
done well.
Mm-mm.
That's just one thing we
So-
can't do right.
But I've always taken them before they get old because I don't want to see them ruin. But the same thing with peas and beans. They have to die and dry on the vine. So it
Mhm.
might be one of those things where with those you have to sacrifice specific, you're going to mark specific ones to sacrifice for seeds. So I don't know if any of you guys know, feel free to
Hey,
tell
and
us your
tell
experience.
us your wisdom on ground cherries too. So we grow a crazy
Well, Sam
amount
and them are the ones that
of
were on
ground
here.
cherries. Oh yeah,
They're
so
the ones that gave them to us.
hey, they're booming. So we talked about freezing them and making jam out of them because we really don't know what to do with them. We don't really like we can eat them, but they're just a little weird tasting for me. What do you think?
I only ate half of one, and it kind
It's
of
unique.
reminded me of a tomato.
I don't get tomato out of that. I don't know what I get out of it.
I ate half of one and gave the rest of one to the kids, and they ate. I mean, they ate it, and I was like,
Miss
I
Sue,
thought it was
thank
like
you
a
so very
tomato.
much. You are always
Miss
so
Sue,
sweet.
thank you.
Thank you very much. That means the world to us for sure. So thank you. God bless you as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Sam, ours are growing huge, so I promise you, if you want to try to get a cutting off of them or try to figure out what we can do to get it
I
back.
don't know if you can get a cutting, and
Ours
I don't
are.
know.
We put them in the greenhouse, and they're like as big as this table we're sitting at. They're huge. So we're getting piles of ground cherries, and so we read about it that you can, freeze them and then turn around and put them in and make jam. So we're gonna try it and see how it goes.
Yeah, I actually put and they're tiny. They're like little berries. So I put about a handful in the freezer yesterday. And once I get several
Enough.
cups of those, I'll try it. I have some plum juice. Yeah, some plum that's already juiced. It's still in the freezer that I was sick of doing plum jelly. So I was like, the rest of this is going in the freezer, which I need to pull out and do. But I'll probably do those together.
Look like alfalfa. They're like, look at that. What is that?
Hey, I'll go get one of the girls' bows and put it right there.
I might have
for you.
to. You need to give me a haircut. You gave the boys a haircut. I need a
Yeah,
haircut.
that was something else I did yesterday. I gave the boys a haircut, and Aiden needed it desperately, but I did not need to add that to my chore list yesterday. And I kept thinking, well, I'm gonna do this before I go get a shower because I'm gonna get nasty. We'll do this before I go get a shower. And then 4 o'clock come, and I was like, okay, I'm sweaty. I'm covered in hair.
Hey, are we buffering? I think somebody said we're buffering. I see it on my phone, okay, but have y'all noticed lives now are in terrible quality? They're not in good quality like a video would be. I don't know why. I think we've been released down to like 540 or 720. Like the quality's never good anymore. Have you noticed that?
I think it's the camera on the computer.
I don't know. I've heard other people say that. They feel like the quality of that live is not as good as it used
I
to
think
be.
it's the camera on the computer.
They will try to put bows in my hair. Actually, most of the time we're messing around with them. I've had painted fingernails and everything else. So We just let them do it. All right, so Stacy says we're clear. Fine now. We're good. So I don't know. Internet's crazy. It might be us. It might be the computer. But it seems like it's just not as clear. As it
Yeah,
used to
I
be.
think the reason why the image is not perfect because of the when we flip it around on the camera phones,
Yeah.
it's like you're looking at yourself in the mirror. But to me, on this, it looks like we're using a camera from 1990.
We probably just need to do it from our phone from now on. We're doing this on the computer, laptop. And it's terrible quality.
Yeah, I honestly think it's the camera on the computer because remember the pictures, quality of the pictures when we took it from the computer, it was terrible.
I don't want to go 5G. Misty's phone accidentally. I mean, it kicks up to 5G, and we always put it back to LTE. Let's see. Judy says I'm anxious to try ground cherries in a meat marinade. Huh, that's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
We'll have to try that.
Yeah, I have two that our friends. They're actually on here. They gave us 2 trees. We bartered out some different things.
I agree, Kim.
And ours are like at least this big, and then they'll die. But if you leave some actually in the soil, they'll grow back next year.
What are you talking about?
If they drop off and you leave them down there, they'll grow back next year.
Hey, Robert says he has it on TV. Looks perfect. You must be talking about her. She looks perfect. I don't. I'm so sorry. I'll cover it up.
We're superstars on TV.
No, we're not.
I'm just joking. Just joking.
Huh, I don't know. Never enough time says the picture's clear, but I just keep getting a black screen that says the error has occurred. I really think it's a YouTube issue on live. I've heard that I've watched a lot of videos on it, so I think it's a YouTube issue. I'm gonna blame it on YouTube anyway. This video will be taken down in just a second because I'm blaming it on YouTube. Hey, so what's so cool is our cow's putting off crazy amounts of milk too. So right now, even though she's got a long time left for milk, and even though we have another cow coming up in milk very, very soon, Misty was talking about the other day. I said we're gonna have to do something with all this milk. So instead of giving it all to the pigs, I think Misty's gonna start putting some back up, just like we did last time. We ran out when we went out of milk the last time. We were like 3 weeks short, so hopefully we won't be.
I need to look at canned butter. That was one of the Miss Wanda had some beautiful canned butter when we went down to her house. I really want to look at canned butter, and I really want to. I don't know about raw milk. I really don't. I've heard people say that they canned milk before.
Yeah, I've seen. I watched the video the other day, and it kind of blew my mind. I thought it was a little gross, but I don't know. I guess you could do it.
I don't know. I really want to look into it though. I mean, if worse come to worse, and you were gonna die or drink canned milk, I guess I'd rather drink canned milk.
See, where you have life.
I was gonna die anyway. I mean,
I think that's what YouTube is doing. And I hate to get off subject, but I think that's what they're doing. They're dropping the video quality from 1080p and 720 down to 540 and 480, and I think it's making the quality of videos bad because you don't want to watch a video that's real bad quality. So,
well, it's not in our control. So,
yeah.
I have to do butter too. Yes, I really want to get some put up. I will also, next time we do lard, I'm going to, I talked with Miss Wanda because she also, they're just so full of wisdom, y'all. And I'm serious. I was like, I want to move in with y'all just for a few months. Anyway, she has some lard put up too. And I was asking her about when did she render it down and then put it in her jars, or did she render it down and put it in her jars and then process like in a hot water bath? Like, how does she do that? She said that when she rendered it down, she put it straight in her jars, and that the heat from it made it seal, that there was no reason to go in and reheat it again just to get the lids to seal because it was already hot enough. So I will be doing that next time we render lard.
I tell you, I think making anything with lard makes it better. I mean, like our biscuits are so good with the fresh lard from our hogs.
I'm glad that you mentioned freeze drying things, because when we were also down there, Miss Wanda has been playing with her freeze dryer. And she's done things like eggs. She said she had some fruits and stuff that she has done. And she says that she has to watch it very closely because she was having an issue with them freeze drying, and then she would pull them back out. Some
Lord
would
is
be
king.
sticky, some would not. And so she was telling us about how she's really tried to play with the machine and figuring it out. And she wasn't a total fan of it, but she was working with it.
Cassie said, I want to move in with y'all. I thought you'd think I was weird. Y'all come on down. Come on down.
What's a few more?
Hey, yeah. We've got so many kids now, we don't even know who comes to the table. We just say everybody start eating. Hey, but what is cool when we talk about, prepping, it's amazing how we can. Misty the other day was talking about it. During this season, we get so I guess filled with satisfaction because you start eating all this food on your plate and you realize everything's really from the farm. So like right now, I'm on this kick to try to lose weight. So I've been eating
We
tons
save
of
our
broccoli.
bacon grease too. We call it bacon grease.
Yeah, we
down
grease
in
it
the
here.
South.
So I've been eating a lot of broccoli. Well, broccoli didn't do well this last year, so that's the only thing we've been really buying. Which we don't have to eat broccoli. I've just been eating it for health reasons. But it's amazing to look at your plate and say, all this hard work, this looks so good, and it makes me feel so good to get it. So,
Yeah.
And then you think about the garlic and the salt. I mean, it's garlic, the pepper,
Do you need
and the
an
lard
extra
going in.
grandma?
It's going really good.
I actually don't have any living grandparents at all. Colby does,
I have one left.
and he's not doing very well at all. So y'all be keeping us in your prayers over the next few weeks because we've got to try to
We
figure
may have
that
to go.
out.
We may have to go out of state. He lives out of state, so we're probably going to be traveling very soon.
Yeah, we got the phone call today that he was admitted to the hospital. So not sure what that's going to look like for us over the next few weeks. But he does have one living grandparent left, and I don't. But I'm like a grandma magnet. In all seriousness, if I go into the room, I always seem to find more conversations with people that either have kids my age or, which are most of them are grandmas by now, more than people our age.
We're losers when it comes to people our age, huh?
That's true. I have sweet ladies that call me all the time. They're all grandmas. I don't ever have any of my friends to call me, like friends that are our age, which most of the time when I talk to them, they're like, they text me. But anyway.
So you must be older than me because like the 40s and 50s like me. So like the 60s and 70s and 80s like you. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so. No, like seriously. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I seem to, maybe it's because
Karen,
I'm like an old lady in a young lady's body.
that's probably
I'm
what
an
it
old
is.
lady at heart. So all of the older ladies,
Old souls. There you go.
I guess I find the older ladies, I find more we do things like alike, like with the canon. I mean, there's very, very, very few 30-year-olds that actually can. You do realize that, right?
And then on top of that, to drink coffee at night and to sit and just be homebodies.
And be homebodies, yeah. But there's
so
also
weird.
very, very, very few 30-year-olds that grow the majority of their food. Like
so
we
weird.
live in like that, like we live our lives like the grandmas and papas used to. I mean, that's what they used to do.
Somebody called
and
us.
we're just doing it. So I guess that's why we feel
Somebody
like
called me today and they said they saw some honey that we posted locally, and they said why? So they saw 2 quarts sitting
the
on my
old
desk.
ways. There you go.
They saw 2 quarts sitting on a desk of mine, and they said, "Man, you produced all that honey." And they said, "All that honey, like those 2 quarts were so much." I said, "Man, we go through a quart of honey a week." I said, "We process about 20 gallons a year." And that blew his mind. He said, "What in anybody's name would anybody want that much honey?" But that's our sugar sweetener. We use that for just about everything. So I guess it's kind of unique, and it always makes a story get started, especially with people our age, because they're just blown away of like, why would anybody want 20 gallons worth of honey, or 20 gallons worth of milk sitting in our fridge right now?
Oh, that's very sweet. Older people have such wonderful stories and knowledge. Yes, and that's why I'm attracted to them.
The wisdom.
Yes, the wisdom.
No offense to anybody that's a little older than us. It's like the wisdom from the greatest generation, the World War II Depression age. If we could go back and learn from them, and some of those are parents and
they will
grandparents of
tell
y'all.
you. They will tell you if
It's
you
like it
didn't grow
skipped.
it.
We just skipped all that.
Yeah.
I read a comment today. It said the first major supermarket was in 1946.
Wow.
And they said if you thought before 1946, where did we get our food? It was more of a barter situation. We grew it on farm. If we didn't grow it, our neighbor did. Let's think about that. 1946 was not that long ago. I mean, that really was.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, that's 80. That's less than 80 years ago. So you think about.
That's what I'm saying.
It's amazing.
Who the people that we call grandma and pawpaw, that was just what they did. That's just what they did.
Right.
So for people, I guess our age, it's kind of like, oh, y'all do? Oh, okay. And then like we can still be friends and everything, but then like grandma and pawpaw, like they're like, come on over here, boy, and let me tell you about. So anyway, yeah.
I like that conversation. So what was that voice that you just? Who are you portraying right there?
That was Pawpaw.
Okay, so that was Pawpaw. Okay.
He's gonna tell us about it, but we like to hear about it because it helps us. Anyway,
I did like your voice changing right
Thank
there. I thought
you.
that was really good.
I'm a storyteller. I'm a teacher.
You did really well.
I'm not a real teacher. I have to be a teacher to our kids, so.
Oh gosh.
I try to teach.
Are you excited about this new teaching?
Well, I hope y'all watched my curriculum video, but if you didn't,
no, it bombed. It didn't do anything. I hope it's evergreen.
I am super excited about our curriculum. We're using more of a family style study. And I know a lot of y'all on here probably don't care, but if you have kids that you're teaching at home, or if you have kids that are homeschooling their kids or friends or whatever, I have found this curriculum, it's going to fit our family perfect because it is a family style type study where I teach all of the kids a study, and then each kid has their own specific book that goes with that study that's on their grade level. So I am super excited about it. I told Colby last night, I don't think he cared, but I was telling Colby last night, I was trying to help get some of that anxiety out. I am a little anxious because I have to do all of the teaching myself this year. Nobody's getting help from DVDs. Besides Aiden will be doing some algebra stuff with a DVD teacher because I said I've been there, done that, and I don't want to do it again. So he does have a teacher on DVD for that. But everything else I'm responsible for, which is totally cool. I'm totally fine with that. I can make sure my kids get their work done. Here's where I get a little bit stressed out. Jennings.
He's crazy.
And Livy. Now, Livy is crawling and she's pulling up to stand up. So I know in about 2 months she'll be walking. I had several that were walking around 9 months, and only Ellie was about 10 and a half. But all of mine walked before they were 1. So that makes me a little anxious just to know that I have so much to teach, and when you throw Jennings and Livy into it, should I tell them about my days with Jennings?
It's too much to tell. It's just exciting. It's exciting.
You don't think I should add on him?
No. We don't want to. One day he might watch this, and then he'll know how
he
bad
did it. He did it.
He'll know how bad he was. Nice, Sam.
I can't even begin. Anyway, so he makes my life very extra fun.
Mr. Robert said, "I wish this was around when I was bringing up my kids." I think about that all the time. I think about there's times that, like the other day, we were picking beans, and I know that two of the kids out of all the ones that were picking, you could tell they were just not into it, and they didn't want to. But I can't. So I used it as a teachable moment. I said, if we realized this was the only food we had, as much as you may not like beans because the two that were picking it were not the best bean people in the world, but I was thinking, this might be the only food that we can have, so we have to learn to do these things even when we don't like to do it. And I think that was a good learning because one of them said, "Well, that's right, like you do in honey when it's really hot outside." I said, "Well, kind of the same thing." So we do things, and it was kind of a teachable moment where she said, "You know what? I realized we need to do this," and I thought that was a pretty good moment for Harley. Harley was the one we were talking about. So
Yep, I've read that before about margarine. My mom is 86 and taught me how to wring a. She is 86 and taught me how to wring a chicken's neck. If you still have your mom at 86 years old, you're very blessed.
Rehab life, I think school is overrated to a point, so calculus probably won't ever be in our repertoire.
I don't think so. I've done my years of math and I ain't going back.
I know, thinking about doing algebra again would make me sick, so I have to give it to Misty. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I've done my years of math and
Lois
I ain't
Blossom,
trying to redo math again. I don't
Jennings
like
is
math.
very independent, very, very independent, but most of our kids work. There's only one kid that I would
wouldn't
say is
use
not.
independent. I would say more like troublemaker.
No, mama.
Coloring with lipstick on the bed. That's one. Then he wet it and not with water. Then he pulled the refrigerator bin down out of the door. Colby's at work though. He doesn't have to clean this stuff. Then he used a whole can of Lysol and sprayed it all over the playroom. Whole can.
I agree, drops. I think that when you're growing your own food, you don't feel the inflation. We hadn't really felt inflation at all with our food, even with our feed, because we buy our feed in bulk. So we bought it really before the major inflation comes. So you can keep telling your story.
I was just reading about the daughter that was homeschooling her 6-year-old who is autistic. That would be tough. You have to learn their ways. And each autistic child has different issues, so you have to know their specific, areas and work with that. So she can definitely do it.
Miss Sue,
Strike 3. We hit strike 3 like 3 times.
Miss Sue, see here where y'all talk about Memorial Day in Connecticut, ours is more on Good Friday here. Now we do plant some things, of course, before Good Friday, but that's always been an old wives' tale here is, hey, you're gonna have a spring Easter freeze. Don't plant before then, other than potatoes and onions and things like that.
Sounds like a spirited soul. Oh, he definitely is.
Oh gosh, yes.
He also dumped a whole cup of milk in the refrigerator today, and it went down in all the little drawers. I can't remember what else he did today. He did something else today, and I was like, we finally had the toilet stage, though. I can say that. I have not had to dig anything out of the toilet, and it has been several months.
I was reading, it says, Drop says, that in some countries, people grow Brussels sprouts to feed their pigs the plant. Huh, that's pretty neat. I wish we could grow. I actually like Brussels sprouts. I know that sounds funny. None of the family does. Misty likes them if they're like doused in bacon grease, salt and pepper.
I like to put salt and pepper and butter, cut them in half, and put them in the oven. She likes to make
Brussels sprouts really unhealthy, but she'll eat them somewhat. I could eat them just basically steamed. I actually really enjoy them. But we can't grow them here. I don't know anyone that actually grows Brussels sprouts down here, like personally.
I can't that comes to mind.
So there might be some local folks that say, yeah, we can, but I never could.
Canning tomatoes. I hope to be doing that pretty soon. Ours, I pulled 2
Thank you, Miss Charlotte.
That were.
Thank you.
One was almost fully red. One had a pink tinge to it, but I went ahead and pulled them off. And then I got 2 green ones. There's fried green tomatoes.
See, that's what I'd rather eat, complete reds, where Misty likes the fried green. Aiden does too. I don't like the fried green tomatoes.
I like to cut them up super thin, drop them in some flour and drop them in some oil and cover them with salt and pepper.
I thought you did cornmeal. Is it flour?
Oh, I did flour last time. I have
Yeah.
done cornmeal before too, though.
So, Ms. Charlotte says there's no science-based safe methods of canning dairy. I checked with your cooperative extension. So, thank you for that. We'll definitely try. And that's not a major concern because we are producing so much milk and butter, but it's always one of those things. It's always in the back of our mind, what can we do better on this or that or this? Getting blossoming right. Miss Debbie, you could possibly look at, you can use, a lot of times we have a copper spray that we've never had to use. It's a Omni listed organic copper spray. And they say
Yay
it's
for
really good for blossoming rot.
I have a lot of potatoes in cans now, and I am super excited about that. So I had somebody ask me, what are you going to do? How are you going to use your canned potatoes? So I did some that I hot bathed, and I say hot bath. I meant hot pack.
Yeah.
But I meant that I boiled them a little too long, and they kind of got soft. And the reason why I know that is because there's a difference when I could tell in the difference when I was scooping them up and pouring them in my jars, because some of them I could see like some of the potato residue like on the glass as I was scooping it, and I was like, ooh, those are softer than I wanted them to be. So what I'm going to do with those, I put soft potatoes on there. So if I want to make potato salad or mashed potatoes, I'll use the softer potatoes for that. If I want to use something like if I want to do something like roasted garlic potatoes in the oven or French fries, anything like that, I'll use the ones that are a little bit harder.
Drops, I'm glad you answered that for Mr. Robert. That's right. When they're flowering, they're okay. Onions and potatoes are about the same. You almost make them that you want them to die. You want them to look like they are dead and you've lost them. And that's when they're ready to harvest. That's right. Let's see. Fun fact, margarine was originally sold as a white blob with a small yellow dye. That is correct, Rehab Life. The reason they actually started coloring it yellow is because people wouldn't eat it when it was white. So they tried to color it yellow to make it have pigment to make people think it was butter.
Margarine, if you use it, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, you need to get away from that.
And it's really, really, really bad on your health.
It is very bad for you. Now, we use straight butter, raw, true butter. But if you're not, and for us, it's almost hard to go back to even a store-bought pasteurized butter. When we were out of milk, or not when we were out of milk, when we were out of milking season, we had just enough butter, and it lasted a long time. So then we got to the very end, we started buying these few little sticks of just raw organic butter, but it's pasteurized. It just didn't
even
do it for
the
us.
color difference.
It just wasn't
even
good.
The color difference. They're light yellow, but compared to our butter,
like
our butter is like
yellow.
Super dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's no. I mean, I know they try when they say organic and blah blah blah, but there's really no comparison. It's like when you go to the store and you buy organic, cage-free eggs, and you come home and crack them. I mean, that's great, but they're still not like going out in your backyard, getting those farm fresh eggs out, and when you crack it open, the yolk is like so yellow it's almost orange. That's, I guess, the kind of comparison we're trying to give y'all, because we know a lot of people don't milk. It's just something that we do and that we've always loved to do.
Carlene's Corner, you're right.
So when we get that cream off, I have a big jar with a electric spinner on it that I drop down in there and whip up that butter. And it really doesn't take very long to do. And then we have fresh butter.
Donna, that actually, when I was a kid, I didn't know margarine was margarine. Everybody called it oleo. So that's what we grew up thinking. It was always called oleo. So when people said margarine, I was like, "What is that?" And then they say it's oleo. So that was common for my grandparents.
Yeah, I can remember the first time I read that. I was like, "What is that?"
We called it oleo, or my grandmother.
We didn't. We called it margarine. But
Fake butter.
it really is not good for your health. If you use it, please try to make the swap. If it's money, find a price, sacrifice somewhere else, buy cheaper toilet paper, and get you some real butter and not margarine. It's so much better for you and your health.
I can't stress enough, even though we sell a lot to our community, if you're able to buy it from a local person, I mean, if you're able to buy anything, if it's meat or if it's eggs or if it's, whatever, ham, bacon, if you can buy it from your local farm or your farmer's market, you need to support them because you're going to get better quality things. If you look at your milk, most of the time your milk is coming from way out of state. Like our milk, I was looking at the little label. There's a little label on there. It's got number system on your milk. You look at that number system, it's going to reference a state. You can go back to your USDA and see the state it's referenced. Most times, like ours, we're in Mississippi. You'll see milk come from like New York or like Oregon. You'll see these crazy states. You're thinking we have milk farms just around here, and why is our milk not used in Mississippi?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's crazy.
really
It doesn't
it's pretty
make
crazy.
sense. But I will tell you, if you're going to try to, in different states have different laws, but if you're going to try to get milk from a local farmer, make sure that you know them personally.
You know their cleanliness of the cow.
I probably wouldn't go to a dairy farm. I would probably try to find a family with a family milk cow.
Or organic farms. There are some.
Yeah, but somebody that you know and that you trust and that has a reputation for clean milk, because yes, milk can give you diarrhea. Okay, raw milk can give you diarrhea if they do not clean it. It's like going to eat lettuce from Walmart that is contaminated. It will give you diarrhea. Raw milk, if the cow has not been cleaned properly before they milk, it can give you diarrhea. Okay.
How many times have you said that?
I mean, I just want to get my point across because you really don't want to get me started on the bad name that people give raw milk, because I have read people before, it will kill you. Well, so can getting in a car driving down the road. It can kill you. Don't give raw milk a bad name, but you do want to know who you're buying your milk from and that you can trust them and that they're clean, because that does matter. That would be like me saying I want to go buy a head of lettuce that has been dunked in cow manure and I'm still going to eat it. Come on. Use common sense when you do it.
Miss Debbie, when it comes to how many acres you're requiring for a milk cow likes to eat. You need to make sure they're getting good quality ground. Most people say acre per cow, 2 acres per cow. I think if you have one milk cow, or you have a milk cow and a steer, you have a milk cow and a baby, or you have a milk cow and another cow, you need 2. So if you had 2 cows, I'd say you want to be around 5 acres. I think that'd be a good thing because you can be rotating them. You can be less than that. For instance, we're less than 1 acre per cow, but it's because we've built this regenerative way to our grass grows really good. But until then, you don't want 1 milk cow. You would want at least 2 cows together. So they're herding animals.
Not necessarily 2 milk cows, but you would at least need a companion,
baby, a steer,
the cow,
just a feeder calf, whatever, and then that way you would want to be around 5.
Because they're herd animals. They don't do well on their own. So that's what he was saying for that. They're herd animals. They need somebody else. Scroll back down. I was reading. The electric spinner. Yes, it's amazing. Love it. Scroll back down. I thought I saw something else. I need to find a way to get rid of my 8 chicken. Oh, getting 8 eggs a day.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great. For us, we go through that like a whole lot. We go through a whole lot of eggs, though.
We do. What ages were you when you started your farm? We have been farming. We've been doing gardening since we've been married.
We were married, yeah.
So 13 or 14 years. But actually, I'd say true homestead farming, drinking the Kool-Aid, probably 7 years, 6 years.
6. Well, we started.
Our gardens started
when we built our home and we moved in, that was 7 years ago last month, and we started, which we always had the gardens. We had chickens and stuff, but we started planting more fruit trees. Okay. And so that kind of led us into planting more and more.
Just kept growing it.
Yeah. But then with the animals, adding the animals, probably the next 2 years. So I would say a full 4.5, 5 years we've done the pigs, bees, cows. Right.
We've been gardening for years, but we've probably done more regenerative ag.
So you ask our age. So that we would have probably been
24, 25, 26.
When we started.
Yeah.
When we started, yes.
We've been gardening since we've been married, which is about 20. They just keep getting bigger. When we first started, our little garden was like this big.
It was tiny, but we ate off that garden.
It taught us that we need to grow more. Hey, Simply Southern Roots. All right, guys. So we are coming up on an hour. This was a very weird live. I think we kept going in and out. So we're sorry about that. We do hope that you have enjoyed. It was a lot of we went everywhere with this one. We say that every week though. We go everywhere
We
with
do.
every one of them. So
But we we want to chat with y'all and we want to answer y'all's questions, and so
thank y'all so much for coming on for sure. Thank you for allowing us to just be part of your evening on a Wednesday evening. Chilling with me today. So we're going to be saying goodbye. Please watch the next few videos. We have a cattle video coming out. We also have we're going to have a generator video coming out. We've got, let's see. Hey, so we've got a beef video out talking about the amount we have in our beef. We've got some more gardening videos coming out. Misty's got some canning videos coming out. So we have a bunch
I'm
coming
not
out this
teaching
week.
you how to can. I'm
No,
just
it's
showing
just
you what
more
I'm doing.
vlogs. Yeah, we're not teaching anybody how to can. Thank y'all so much for watching. God bless.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Thank you.
It's not gonna let us in.
It's not gonna let us in.